morning, welcome back to the channel. In this video I want to talk about a piece of software that I downloaded. I actually downloaded it quite a long time ago, but for some reason completely unbeknown to me, it will not run properly on my main desktop PC. I think it's something to do with the graphics card because it's driving two high resolution monitors, and whenever I start the application it just causes my system to reboot. The program in question is actually called Topaz AI De-Noise, and it's an application which uses artificial intelligence to remove noise and sharpen images. And I hadn't meant to try it a long time ago, and I hadn't got round to it because my PC has been playing up. I thought rebuilding the PC would fix it. It hasn't. I've sent a support message to the people that make the software and they're looking into it, but so far no joy. But I do have a quite well spec'd up laptop, which is a Dell XPS 15, which I normally only use when I go away as my on-site image processing and just generally sort of my computing capability. But it's nowhere near as powerful as my main i9 processor, Intel i9 32 gig desktop machine. So I always use that for my main processing when I'm at home. But frustrated that I'd paid good money for this piece of software, I thought, well, let's see how well it runs on the laptop. And along with that, and also another piece of software that I've got, which has got the name of Affinity, I think it's Affinity Photo, which is another artificial intelligence application. I won't talk about that one now, but both of them run absolutely perfectly on my laptop. So what I'm going to do is switch across to a screencast, so you don't have to look at me anymore, you can actually see what I'm doing. And I'll run up Topaz AI De-Noise and I'll show you what effect it has on 2 or 3 images. I've been quite startled by how well this has worked, to be honest, and it's not massively expensive. I can't remember how much it is, but it does do a very good job. It's a little bit slow, but if you can actually get rid of noise and create a better image and it's important to you, I think it's worth the effort. You don't have to do it to every image anyway, because just do it to the images that you intend to print large or something, or where the noise might be a problem. Putting them on the internet doesn't matter at all. Facebook, Instagram and all of that sort of thing, no one will ever see the noise, but not unless you zoom in on a small section of the photograph. But if you actually want to print something large and you want the best quality image, I think this is well worth a look. So I'll switch across to screencasting now and talk you through what I'm doing and what it's doing, and you'll be able to see the side-by-side panels showing the original and the denoised image. It can also sharpen images as well, which I found also very useful. And again, I've been quite surprised by how good it is at doing it. So you'll make your own mind up. You can download your own copies and play with it for free for I think a month or something, and assess whether it's of any value to you. But I just thought you guys might actually be interested to see this software in action. So I'll switch across to screencasting and let's get into it and have a look at some images. Okay, here we are in Topaz AI De-Noise. Let's just get rid of that reminder on the left hand side. I've got a JPEG image open here, which is quite a noisy image. It's currently being shown at 100%. This is the overall picture, and it's a picture in somewhere in the Alps, I think near Chamonix, and we've got some nice sky. It's got a bit of noise in it. The left hand panel is the original and the right hand one is the removed, the smooth, removed, or whatever you want to call it, image. And if you actually slide this slider left and right, you can see what effect it's having on the image. The image looks as if it's got sharpening halos already. This is a JPEG image. I'll move across to doing this with a DNG and a RAW file in a moment, but let's just first look at this JPEG. As you can see, in the right hand side here, we've got a series of sliders that control the amount of noise removal, the sharpening and the recovery of original detail. Now in the sky you can see it is a little bit lumpy. There's a little bit of grain and noise in there. Grain, noise, same thing. And if you slide the slider across it, it's definitely smoothing that out a bit. But to make it more obvious, let's put the remove noise up to 100% and let it reprocess that. Now The detail in the mountain is clearly being massively affected by that, because in this section here we are sort of smoothing out the mountain quite a lot, and also we're attracting quite a noticeable haloing effect on the edge of the mountain. But the effect on the sky is quite noticeable. It's clearly taking a lot of noise out of the sky, but the sky doesn't have a lot of real detail in, so it doesn't look as obviously bad as the mountain part here does. So let me just put it into auto detect settings mode and let it rebuild the image. Now again, we've still got a fair amount of sharpening artifacts here. The detail in the mountain is now better, arguably better. I think it's a subjective thing, because clearly it's sharpened quite a lot of the detail on the mountain face here. So let me move down to a much darker part of the image. This part here should do nicely, and here we've got quite deep shadows on the in shadow side of the mountain, and if I move the slider around, you can see what it's doing is it's removing an awful lot of the noise in the right hand panel compared to the left hand panel here. So you notice the forest on the mountain side is very noisy in the left hand panel and very much cleaner in the right hand panel. Now let's just see what happens when we put the retain original detail or recover original detail. We pretty much have reintroduced all the noise in the right hand side, pretty much undermining all the effort of doing anything with it. So clearly in this image it doesn't really help to have that set so too high. Let's just set it a little bit lower, and we basically, I suspect what's happening is we're reintroducing or not suppressing the noise as much, because it's starting to be noisy on the right hand side. It's got this clear mode, all clear or AI clear, and again it's decided how to set this up itself, and I think the right hand image is a nicer image. It's a matter of taste, but there's certainly a lot less noise in the right hand image, and bear in mind we're at 100%, which people rarely look at something at. So if we go down to 50% and then compare the effect, the noise is definitely reduced. We'll remove a lot more noise from the right hand image by setting high on here, and now it actually looks very much as if somebody smeared Vaseline all over the front of the picture, because there's virtually no real detail in the dark shadows, even though the noise is completely suppressed. But the halos around the edges of the mountains are quite noticeable still. So I don't know, I think this is a situation where really you've got to download this software yourself and play with it and evaluate whether it's going to work. And I would suggest probably not just on one or two images, but several of different sorts to conclude or at least form an opinion. Let's have a look at a different image. This is another JPEG image, and it's of a waterfall in the Lake District. As you can see on the right hand side, it's a portrait orientation, and it's actually taken from a car park. It's about 3/4 of a mile to this waterfall, and this is just a very long lens shot. But if we just let it calculate the right hand side again, which is the denoised image, and look at the effect it's having, the waterfall definitely looks cleaner on the right hand side than it does on the left hand side. There's less artifacting going on. There is definitely a bit more detail in the grass at the side. It's a bit clearer, and if you can probably hear, we've got thunder happening outside, so probably lose all electric without warning. So again, I think it's an interesting product. I'm pleased I've got it. I'm not sure I'll use it for everything, but I think it's well worth downloading it and evaluating it for your own purposes. I can't remember the price, you'll be able to find it on the internet, but I think there are cases where it does work very well, and there are obviously edge cases that it doesn't work as well for. So have a go, download it, see if you like it. I'm not in any way connected with these people, so I've got nothing to gain. I just like technology, and this is an example of modern technology being applied to images. So I hope you found that useful, and leave any comments in the section below, and have a play with the software and see if it works for you. Well, as ever, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.